All right. Hello, everybody. All right. So good to see you guys here. We are live after a little bit of technical difficulties, which I'll explain in a second. Let me just catch up with everybody real quick, because now I see some comments in here where before it was saying, hi, Pat, good to see you. Sherry, nice to see you as well. Oh, everything's clicking. I'm so glad. We have so much to talk about tonight. We're going to, as always, I've got like a full, I could go for hours, but let's see. Hello to Donna. Good to see you. And Caroline, awesome. Okay. All right, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So let me get my notes here and I'll explain to you where I am and why it sounds so hollow. I am in an empty bedroom. So this just goes to show you that when you've got a message to share, it doesn't matter if you've got like a whole little studio set up. I'm doing this on the fly and I absolutely love it. So I am right now in an unfurnished bedroom and the lighting is poor and everything it is what it is, because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything at all. And you guys know that I recently had a personal family loss, and my beautiful mother-in-law, Claudia, we all called her Nana. Nana crossed to the other side. She made her transition. And we've all been adjusting to that emotionally. It's been a time of emotional intensity. And also, my son and his family moved a few states away. So I've been helping them move, and that's thus the empty bedroom. And the fact that I am also on, so fingers crossed, I am using my hotspot on my phone because there is no internet yet. And there's a chance we got kicked off on Saturday during our class, but that was at the very end, or maybe that was Friday. Yeah, Friday's class. At the very end, we got kicked off, but it was all fine. So if for some reason I lose you, don't go anywhere. I will try to immediately jump back on if that were to happen. So I just want to give you that kind of technical heads up that I am truly winging it. And next Monday, it'll be the same thing. Next Monday, I'm traveling back to Colorado and I'll be driving. So I'll probably be coming to you from a hotel room. But yeah. All right. So it's so good to see you guys here. Here's some things I want to talk about tonight. I called this video Lessons Learned from Our Pets on the Other Side of Life, because animals are amazing spiritual teachers. They have so much to teach us. And I think it answers a lot of questions. People come to this channel. So first of all, I should say this, right? For those who are catching me for the very first time, welcome to my studio. My name is Elaine. I'm a Reiki master, chaplain, and medium for animals. So I work primarily with helping people heal after the loss of an animal companion, and also bringing us closer to our animal companions and to each other and to beautiful souls who reside on the other side of life. And we have a lot of fun with it. We not only help each other heal, but we've really been talking about some interesting metaphysical concepts that people are really getting into. So that's where I'm going to go with this a little bit more tonight, because one of the questions that comes up is not, there's always the please help me heal, and how do I manage my grief, and how do I'm feeling this guilt and this remorse, these heavy, I call them dense emotions. How do we work through those, and how do we manage those? But also why? That's one of the questions I get a lot, but I don't understand why. Why did my animal companion cross? Why did they cross in this way? Why did this happen? I don't understand. I would have never asked for this to happen in my life. So what did I do wrong? And those are some of the questions that I think I'm going to be able to help you through tonight. And that came from one of you guys asking me a question via email about people. So recently we have been through some natural disasters, right? So we've had hurricanes, two right in a row that came through Florida and went up the East Coast. And it left us with a lot of damage in its wake. People have lost their homes. People have lost their lives. People have lost everything. There's been a major impact, and not just once, but twice. And the question was, why does this happen to some people and not to others? Why does it seem like some people live under a cloud, a dark cloud, and other people seem to be lucky? And I think that we're going to tie it back to animals, because I tie it back to animals. And why do some animals get cancer and some don't? Why do some animals get stuck in a shelter and others find their forever home? Why are some animals euthanized and some not? Why do some animals run away? Why are some hit by a car? All of these things, those are the questions, those why questions, those really like, what is the point? and why does this happen to us and our animal companions? I'm going to try to at least get you to consider some possibilities, and we're going to go down the metaphysical rabbit hole. For those of you who like to go down the rabbit hole, I'm going to try to give you a crash course in different ways of looking at things metaphysically and how you might be able to find some peace from that. And I encourage you to ask the hard questions. So if I'm going to give you like the top level of some of these ideas, we're going to talk about simulation theory. So if Sharon's on here, I don't see her yet. And hello, Jody, and hello, Jess. If we're going to talk a little bit about simulation theory, the multiverse theory, the create your own reality theory. I've got a couple different things I want to share with you to see what you can pull from these that resonates with you, because it's unique to each and every one of us. And I don't think that we have a right answer just yet, although it's what we're searching for. It's what everybody is searching for, the meaning and the answer. But I think that we are closer today than we were before. So that's what I want to share with you guys. But I also want to start with going back. I'm not going to end with a reading today. I'm going to start by sharing more information about Selfie. Selfie is the dog we talked about last week. And then somebody reached out to me in a quick little comment to the video last week about Cecil. And the question just was so beautiful. I had to ask it. It just made me smile so much. It was, okay, but how do you pet an invisible dog? If we can feel our animal companion coming through, but how do we pet an invisible dog? So we're going to talk about that too. Okay, so let me just take a quick check here at comments, see who else has joined us. And I think we're all caught up. I don't see Sharon, who really wanted to talk about simulation theory, but I'm going to give you guys a high level of what that means. And I apologize for the echo. I mean, why do I say I apologize? There's an echo and we're going to have to deal with it. All right, let me grab my water. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about Cecil first. So Cecil is a doggy who crossed to the other side. And the question from Cecil's human, Kelly, was, how do you pet an invisible dog? And she led up with a story about signs. And you guys know some of these signs. She said she smelled like she could smell a wet dog. We all know what that smell is. When our dog gets wet, you smell a wet dog. Especially if they hop on the bed, then you're really in trouble. We all know what that smell is. She smelled the smell of the wet dog. And then when she got off the elevator, she still smelled it even stronger. By the time she got to her own place, it was everywhere, the smell of the wet dog. And she just knew that it was her dog, Cecil. That's how we know. All of us, the way that they get through to us, we talked about signs so many times, the way they get through to us. No echo problem. Oh, good. Great, Kathy. Thank you. Maybe it's just here in this empty room that I hear the reverberation off all the walls. When we finally get the sign, it's so clear. And once we get it, it is, they just seem to come through all the time. And our animals have a way of manipulating energy. They most frequently cannot come back in any kind of physical form to get our attention with signs. They have to be able to use some other form of energy. So we can think about our senses. We can hear something, smell something, taste something, see something, use in the clouds, something on the television, lights flickering, or with that smell, the smell of a wet dog. Or for me, it was the sound of Jack licking the water out of the toilet. And then she said, I knew that he jumped on the bed. I knew he was with me right on the bed. But how do you pet an invisible dog? There's only one way to do that. First of all, that's not true. There's many ways to do it. You could actually pet the invisible dog. I do this with distance Reiki healing sessions all the time. When I have distance sessions with animals, I visualize in my mind that I'm right there with them. I touch them. I touch them as if I'm in the same room with them, even though it's using my imagination. Your imagination is a powerful tool. It is not something that only children use to make believe. It is something that we all should use to make believe. So use your imagination and actually reach out and pet the invisible dog. Pet the spirit, pet the soul, pet the energy. I love to just visualize Jack. I use Jack a lot because Jack had this mane. He was a yellow lab, but he had this lion's mane around his neck. I just loved that mane. And I can just visualize myself scratching him right there. Oh, he loved to be scratched right there. So scratch, 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 touch, touch, touch. Use your imagination and visualize. You may also just use your mind. Remember what it was like to pet that dog. Remember what it was like to when you bumped with the kitty cat. Remember what it was like if cat or dog, doesn't matter, what it was like to touch them. Cats like to be touched from the tip of their head to the tip of their tail. So just imagine what it's like to do that entire sweep down their body. That is the best way to do it. You can just touch them as if they were present with you. The other way to pet them is to pet them with your heart. Just to let your heart be filled with the love and the memory of their existence with you, and hold that in your heart and let that be the pet. Let that be the pet that you give them. So that's Cecil. I love that. I just love the story. She also wanted to know, I have to answer this question. She wanted to know if Cecil died of a broken heart. There were some situations, I won't go into the whole story, but there was a situation that involved Cecil passing, and the ultimate determination was that it was a heart attack, and she believed that he died of a broken heart. Our animals do not die of a broken heart. I promise you, once we start to talk about some of these things that I want to share with you tonight, our animal companions are here to guide us, teach us, love us, be partners in our life. And even when the trajectory of our life changes, and perhaps our animal companion goes on one road and we go on another, I will use my beautiful grand dog Stanley as an example. My beautiful grand dog Stanley, an Australian Shepherd, was living in a small apartment and then a small residence. Australian Shepherds, there's a saying by those who are familiar with Australian Shepherds. The only way that you should get an Australian Shepherd is if you live in Australia and you have sheep, because they are working dogs. They are meant to work. So little Stanley had to be rehomed, and we literally did. This is not a hypothetical. We literally found a farm for Stanley to go to where he had goats and chickens, and he has been living his absolute best life. So I don't know why. I don't know where that came from, that I had to share that story with Stanley. But if your trajectory, there we go, trajectory. So if our lives take different directions, it's okay. When we talk about some of these things in just a few minutes, every single animal comes to us not only as a teacher, but also on their own journey. They have their own life, their own preferences, their own choices. We're going to talk about something called soul contracts in a minute, which I'm not 100% tied to, but which kind of explains that sometimes we know ahead of time, before we come to this planet, that there may be a little predetermined plan. Nothing is completely predetermined because we have free will, but every single animal is also on their own journey, and we honor that journey. And for whatever reason, I'll use Stanley as the example. Stanley knew that he had to go find this little family that was on this farm, where there was another dog who had lost her partner, where there was a little boy who was so wanting another doggie that he could just, be his dog, a boy and his dog kind of thing. And where there were goats that Stanley could herd, where there were chickens that Stanley could herd. So he was on his own trajectory, and he happened to come through our family, and we fell in love with that beautiful doggie, but his life was taking a different turn. And that's perfectly okay. It's okay for that. So honoring that our animal companions also have their own journey, and they don't die of a broken heart. They do not die of a broken heart. I think they know more than we do. They have a little bit different understanding about things, and they don't believe that we've let them down. And even though Cecil crossed under those circumstances, the second that they crossed to the other side, which, by the way, we all know, instantaneous, even the word instantaneous is too long. It's an instant. There's no separation. It's just a flow. 1 minute they were there in their physical body, the next minute they're on the other side, and they don't carry with them any of that negative energy that we associate. Like, we kind of give them that baggage. They don't take it with them. They don't take it with them. So that's Cecil. And I see comments flying, so I'm just going to go through these comments real quick. Pet where they used to lay. Oh, that's a great one, Kathy. I like that one. Pet where they used to lay. And you can cry. It's totally fine, right? I do too. I've told stories. How many times have I told stories about Lucy and it still makes me cry after all this time? It's okay, because it's part of our emotions, and we have our emotions for a reason. Um, Hello. Did I miss something? Anna, Judy, hello. Good to see you. And oh, hi, Anna. And I love the Stanley story. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And boy, oh my gosh, that my Stanley. I'll have to show you a couple pictures I have of Stanley when he was with us, and well, he was a funny little guy. He was definitely a funny little guy. So that's for Cecil. So I hope that brings Cecil's human. Her name is Kelly. Kelly commented in the comments, so I'm not. I try to keep everybody's name private if they haven't given me permission to use. And the other is for Selfie. So let's do a little follow up on Selfie. Selfie's human, Amisha. So Amisha reached out to me to say that yes, some of the things really resonated and some of the things did not resonate. So I want to cover a couple more things that I thought about after connecting with Amisha. The first one was about the third eye. And she did confirm that Selfie's name was not Sophie, it is Selfie. And Selfie, she confirmed about so I had said that I saw a picture of Selfie and I saw a third eye. One of the pictures that Amisha sent was of I think you pronounce it taluk. A taluk is in the Hindu tradition when you place the red dot on the third eye. I don't know that that's the reason that it's placed there, but that's what I associate it with. And that was a picture with Selfie and that red dot there, but that's not what I saw. I recognized the dot, but I also didn't want to make assumptions about that. I didn't want to make assumptions about any religious traditions or cultural traditions, but what I saw, so this is for Amisha, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. What I saw was a triangle. It was a pink patch. It was a long triangle in the picture above that taluk. So it was I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I apologize if not. It was like a pink triangle under her white fur. So that is what I saw. And that's what I saw as the third eye. And then about the puppies. Oh, I should do the chant first. So she also said that yes, as part of the Hindu tradition, they chant. And as Selfie was crossing, she was chanting. So that may have been what I was hearing. I couldn't understand. I didn't know the words. But I also chant in the Reiki tradition. I do Reiki chants in Japanese. I don't understand the meaning of them, but I feel the vibration. And more than anything, that's what I felt from Selfie, that there was a vibration that really eased her transition. It was something that helped her feel calm, something she recognized, and it really helped ease her transition. Then the thing about the puppies, she said that Selfie did not have any puppies, and I felt that Selfie had puppies. So I have to tell you a story that Gypsy does, and I wonder if this is something that was with Selfie also. I swear, my beautiful little Gypsy has been spayed. She was spayed as a puppy, and she has never had puppies of her own. She does this thing, and whether it is instinctual or whether in animals who we've talked about reincarnation, whether it is a memory from a past lifetime, she does this little thing sometimes when she wakes up. She'll wake up and she will start nudging, like she'll be almost half asleep and she picks something up with her mouth and moves it and nudges it. And she goes back and picks something up with her mouth and moves it to another place and nudges it. And it's like she's making a pile of them. I swear it's puppies. She's picking up a puppy, moving it and nudging them all into a little group. She's putting all her little puppies together and then she nudges them and she nudges them and it is the most unusual thing I've ever witnessed. If I could catch it, I haven't been in a place where I can actually video it. I'd love to video it for you guys, but I wonder if Selfie at some point, whether it's a memory or an instinctual thing, I just got the sense of her with puppies. And then the last thing that Selfie's human said is something that I really am hoping that we can talk about tonight as I talk about these different metaphysical topics, is that based on her tradition, the Hindu tradition, Amisha does believe in reincarnation. And I did not want to make an assumption about that too, but I did get distinctly that because her human expected reincarnation, because it is cultural, it's a part of culture, it's a societal, religious, cultural thing, that yes, in the Hindu tradition, we just know it. We believe it's going to be reincarnation. But When Selfie passed, all the doubt comes in. You start to feel, she said, even as a person who expected reincarnation, the doubt I started doubting everything. I doubted everything. I doubted that reincarnation was real. I doubted why she died. I felt it was my fault. There was a problem with veterinary care. I felt it was my fault. I felt all of these things raised doubts. When those doubts creep in, it's not that it stops the reincarnation, but it may slow things down just a little bit. So my suggestion would be, remember what you know. Go with your heart. Let go of all those, when we get down and stuck in those denser emotions, the guilt, the remorse, the regret, the second guessing. When we get stuck there, it prevents us from believing, and all we need to do is believe. So go back to what you know. We here in the Western world, we have to kind of convince ourselves or reconvince ourselves that it's a real thing. You don't have to do that. Go back to what you know is true. Go back to what you know is true. Know that Selfie will help you. You can ask her to guide you. You can ask her to give you signs. And the two of you together can co-create the reincarnation. That was the topic of last week, co-creating the reincarnation. Together, you have access to the universal field where our soul and spirit has gone, and together you can co-create. Okay. Now let's get down to food for thought. This is the crash course in metaphysics. Why do I want to give you this? I want to give you this because of the question that came up. The question about it came up for people after all the natural disasters. Why are so many people in suffering? Why do so many people experience suffering over and over again? Why do some people experience it and some people do not? Why are some pets, this was my question then, why are some pets in shelters and why do some pets get euthanized? Why does that happen? And so I'm going to take you through some thoughts. So think about this. I know what I'm going to propose. I know what resonates with me, but you need to come to a place that resonates with you and see if this helps answer some of your questions. A long distance family here. Yeah, sure, we are. I love this. We have such a great group of people here. I'm just going to read one more comment from Anna. Lately, animals have been asking me for stuff. A mouse threw it up because he couldn't move his back leg. So cute. That is also what happens. Hello. Oh, don't worry about being late. All good. We're just getting into things. We were just doing, in fact, interestingly, I started off not with the reading, but with a follow-up. We just got done Selfie and Cecil. So animals will start to show up for you. Anna, when I teach animal communication, I teach animal Reiki, I teach animal mediumship, I teach developing your psychic abilities with animals as teachers and guides. And what everybody, without doubt, you guys who have been in some of my classes, please confirm for me, animals start to show up for you when you start to show up for them. When you start to recognize animals as sentient beings who have preferences, who have souls, who are individuals, every single animal, just like every single person, wants to be loved for who they are. They want to be loved without expectation. They want to be loved without any strings attached. They want unconditional love and to be seen for who they are. And when you start to do that, all animals start to come to you. Wildlife, pets, you'll be the person walking down the street and everybody goes, my dog doesn't go to anybody, but look at her go to you. That's what happens when we start to see animals as unique individuals and trust in their journey, have no expectations of them. Let them be who they are. Just let them be who they are, and they will come to you. I tell the story of a fox, and I'm a little bit off topic here, but I'll tell it when you talk about the mouse. I got out of my car one day when this was first, when all the doors had first started to open for me. I think that it's all that animals are the ones who open the doors. I was in a parking lot in a corner lot, in a corner slot. I opened my car door and a fox came out of the grass. And the fox came out of the grass and you could see that his eye was all closed and it was weeping. He had this, and he sat at my car door and just sat there with me. I didn't do anything. I just sat there and held the space for him. And I filled my heart with love. And I just said, your body has the ability to heal. You know what to do. Let your body heal. And we sat there probably for 10 minutes, just looking at each other. And then he trotted back into the woods, and that was the last I saw the little fox. But those are the kinds of experiences that we can start to have when we start to recognize animals as individuals. Okay, that is your animal Reiki and communication lesson for today. Let's talk about a couple things. So why do these things happen, not just to animals, but to people? Why do we live on a planet on Earth in these physical bodies for all this mess? Why is there war? Why is there disease? Why is there euthanasia? Why everything, right? Why everything? Why is there pollution? Why? Okay, I get it. I'm right there with you with those questions. More than anything, though, of course, I am focused on the animals. So the first thing is you can look at it from a Zen perspective. The Zen perspective does not necessarily resonate with me, but a Zen perspective would say that, well, that's just the nature of life. It's the good and the bad. We take the good, it's the yin and the yang. We must have duality. We accept that duality, and we trust that it's just a part of life, and it's how we respond to it. So we accept it, we respond from a place of peace and compassion. We understand that it's part of the natural flow. That sounds lovely. I really do. I wish that I could embrace that Zen philosophy, that it's all meant to be. But I have a hard time with it. I really do. I'm just being honest. I just have a hard time thinking that it's just the nature of things, that's the way that it has to be. Because that takes away all of our power. It takes away all of it. That makes me just say, so then what's the point? What's the point? So that's the Zen philosophy. And like I said, you guys, please ask the hard questions. I'll check the comments. But I don't mind the hard questions. And if I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you that. Like I won't just make it up. I'll tell you that I can't answer it. Or like I always do, I will go research it. So then there's simulation theory. Sharon, who I don't see on here tonight, who brought up last week that she was really curious about simulation theory. If you've never heard of any of these theories before, these are metaphysical, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, combination of science and spirituality. These are just different approaches that people are trying to come to answer why, and to answer how can we impact our own lives? How does this stuff happen? So simulation theory is really interesting. I'm not convinced 100% about simulation theory, but there are some people who are. You can, as always, YouTube, the place where you can find anything. I tried to find it. Okay, irrelevant. I tried to find a song online for my granddaughter, and when I typed in the search bar, I mistyped. And up came the most bizarre thing of a woman dressed in a cat costume in a cage. And I was like, oh, God, you can find anything. You really can find anything on YouTube. So simulation theory, if you'd like to look it up, there are some people who are very strong proponents of this idea of simulation theory. Simulation theory suggests that we are living in a giant video game, that this whole thing is a video game. The Matrix, if you want. And the Matrix is actually a little bit different version of that. I forgot to even include that in my list of things for the Matrix, where we are living in a pre-designed thing that we need to break out of. But I don't have enough. We'll go to that next time. Simulation theory says that we're essentially like in a computer game, or if anybody's seen the Jim Carrey movie, The Truman Show, like that, where we are just being manipulated and it's all a big game. And that could bring some comfort to someone whose animal crosses to the other side, knowing that it was never real to begin with, that it's all just a simulation, and that there's somebody out there, there's some higher power who's just playing this really cool video game and we're living in a simulation. That's simulation theory. And part of simulation theory has gone off into a different direction, saying that it's us actually. So it's our higher self. So our soul, when I talk about a higher self, the theory is that only a piece of our soul inhabits our physical body. And the greater part of us exists in the field, in the quantum field, in the energetic field. And that's where our higher self exists. The rest of us exists. And it's that version of us that's playing this game. I don't know how I feel about that theory either. Like, I've considered it. I have absolutely considered it. And I've considered that if it's me out there playing this game, like, I want to give myself the finger. Like, you, you're messing up here. Okay. So instead of like turning over the rock with the turd, I would please like to turn over the rock with the ruby or the, you know what I'm, so, anyway, that's simulation theory, that this is all one big video game and we happen to be stuck here and we go through the motions of the game. But it can be like, like Zelda or I don't know many video games. I'm not a gamer. Zelda is my favorite. So if you like, it's a game of Zelda and we are overturning rocks so that we can find different things and we find different clues and we're trying to get to this ultimate goal. And that's how we play. That's how we navigate all this. And we're learning all these things so that we can navigate into different levels and then life becomes fun. But that's simulation theory. Feels fake to feel that way to me. Oh, I think you were talking about Zen. Yeah. So there's simulation theory. Then there's the multiverse theory. And all of these, I'm bringing it back to animals. I'm bringing it back to the fact, why do some people suffer and some people don't? When we talk, why do some animals suffer and some animals don't? If it was simulation theory, that it's all just part of the game. And we can find comfort in that because it's just a game. And when the soul crosses to the other side, everything's all good. Everything's all good. And our dogs and cats are with us on the other side. And that's where we can get some comfort thinking about simulation theory. I hear you about finding turds. Okay. Your whole life has been one big turd hunt. Let's flip that on its head. Wait till we get to what I really think happens, because I think we can change that whole thing. We'll get to that. So the multiverse theory. The multiverse theory, again, if you would type in multiverse in the YouTube search bar, you'll come up with a whole bunch of people. And there are some well-known proponents of these that do a really good job, much better than I am. I'm giving you the high level, a really good job of explaining what these mean. Multiverse says that there are many parallel universes and that every decision we make results in a different universe being created, and we're not aware of it because we are where we are right now. The example that I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you an example when I was driving. This has happened to me twice, both while I was driving. I was driving down the road and I went to merge into a lane to enter onto the highway at the same time that another car was coming across to exit. And I knew that there was no way that we weren't going to hit. It was just the way we were. And I could see it. I could see it happening. And then I felt this weird little shift, and all of a sudden it didn't happen. And the car was ahead and I was in the lane, and what I saw happening did not happen. It was like a glitch, right? Like, so if we do talk about the Matrix, it was a glitch in the Matrix. And I wondered as I continued down the road, if there wasn't a version of me where that actually happened, where that accident happened. And did I just veer off based on that occurrence? It veered off into a different universe. And then it also happened to me a second time. And there was a tire where I'm on the highway, 4 lanes. A tire comes off of a truck. It just blows right off the truck. It goes bump, 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 bumping across all 4 lanes. All the cars, there was nowhere for us to go. I saw the car come this close to me. And I remember thinking, this is what it's going to feel like. This is what I'm going to know what it feels like. We came so close, and then it doesn't matter because you guys know that I love to do woo-woo. I swear, angels. It's the only explanation. It's the only thing that could have kept our cars. We were this close. It was the only thing that could have kept us from hitting, and nobody's cars hit at all. And then again, I wonder, is there a universe where that we all smashed? And so that is how the multiverse works. And it's not just little decisions. So it doesn't matter if you decide to, have a cappuccino or an Americano coffee at the Starbucks. Those decisions don't take you in different directions. It's critical junctures within your life when you have to make a decision. So if you have made a decision to get married or not get married, if you made a decision to take a job or not take a job, those kinds of decisions they just veer off into a different universe. So when the comfort for that, when it comes to our animal companions crossing, is to think about there is another universe out there where you and your animal companion are still together, and you are still you, even though you're existing in multiple universes. You could do a meditation that allows you to connect with all versions of yourself everywhere. And one of those versions, you and your animal companion are still together. You didn't make the decision to have that veterinary care, or you didn't make the decision to have the car window open as your kitty cat jumped out. That has happened to me, by the way. All of those, whatever, you can actually connect with that version of yourself. And the way that it brings us comfort here and now is that even though our consciousness is in this existence right now, it's hard to wrap our minds around. There's another version of us that is us and still exists with our other human companion. The only problem I have with the whole multiverse theory is that it means that there's a gazillion universes out there, because each and every one of us makes hundreds of decisions all day long. We make so many decisions, and every single person is making a decision about this, making a decision to help move across the country, making a decision to go to this place or that place. We, not just all of us, right? So that means that there is more than can be counted, an infinite number of universes with an infinite number of potentials. It's comforting in that there might be a really cool potential out there for me, and how do I get to that potential? But you have to really go deep into the whole multiverse thing to get a better understanding of that. So that's where it loses me when I think about the billion people or how many, 7 billion people on the planet, and all of us making these decision trees all day long, universe after universe after universe after universe. Okay. I'm gonna just take a look at this comment. I wonder if premonitions are views into the future or other universes. Had a premonition of a friend who would get stabbed. That's probably I could probably go down that rabbit hole also, about premonitions. And yes, I think it is a glimpse of a potential future. I don't think it always has to happen. But yes, I believe that it could be that we are looking at a different version of a different universe, and somewhere there's a universe where that didn't happen, and your friend is still with you physically. Okay, I'm not going to. We could spend hours talking about this stuff. Quantum jumping. So talking about the multiverse. I'm going to just touch on this a little bit. Quantum jumping, astral travel, transcending or quantum journeying is where that's when I mentioned that you would do a meditation. It's about doing a meditation. I'm going to see if I can explain this well enough. Doing a meditation where you are allowing your soul to travel across a different timeline, if that's the right way to put it. And I know that I'm not versed at explaining this very well. I can talk about animals all day long, but I'm not very versed at explaining this. So you can look up quantum jumping, astral travel, quantum shifting, quantum journeying, but it's about accessing the field. And it's like if you have an album, a record album. I'm sorry, I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to get the words right. If you have an old-fashioned album, right, and it had each track was on its little circle, and you moved the needle of the record player to the track that you wanted to play, to the music that you wanted to play. Or if you were just playing the whole record, it would automatically do it itself. But it's like picking up the needle and moving it to the next track. And you are allowing yourself to close your eyes, and you do a meditation, and there are many of them. There are guided meditations. A channel called Your Universe. Jessica, her name is Dr. Jessica. She's a psychiatrist, a psychologist, PhD. Jessica, Connor, I think is her name, but her channel is called Your Universe, YOURYOU Universe. Your Universe. She does great ones. She does great meditations that help you travel, that help you connect with other versions of yourself, that help you. And then what happens is when you do this, gradually, it's not like you wake up one day and you're a princess, or you wake up one day and you're a billionaire. It seems to be like this little gradual shift in the way that your life is evolving. And the next thing you know, you are healing from the trauma that you experienced. And we're going to say with the trauma of pet loss, you're healing from that traumatic experience. And you realize when you wake up that you really have kind of shifted things in your life by doing these meditations. And it allows you then to get to a place where you can focus on connecting with your animal companion, on co-creating their next existence or their next incarnation, and feeling that you have evolved into something that is, you've evolved into a higher version of yourself, if that makes any sense. It's the way that I feel when I look back. It's not that I feel like, I've got some kind of superpower now, but when I look back at my life and I look back at all the things that I did and how I was stuck in corporate for so long and how I did all the things that I was told I was supposed to do. And then all of a sudden I'm talking to animals on the other side of life and leading classes and teaching other people how they can talk to them too, and doing readings for people and connecting with animals and getting messages that people are saying are true. I look at my life and go, how did that happen? And is it possible that because of all the meditations I did, and I've listened to Jessica Connor for years now. I think that's her name, is because I always know her as Your Universe. Anywho, it's possible that we are gradually shifting, and even being part of this little community, that we are helping each other gradually shift, not only healing our emotions after the loss of our animal companion, but learning how to tap into a higher version of ourselves so that we have a continued relationship with our animal companion. I hope I'm not getting too deep for you guys, too philosophical. All right, one more comment. You became Super Elaine. Yeah, right. What would Super Elaine do? I wrote that down once. What would rich Elaine do? I did write that. What would millionaire Elaine do? And I wrote down all the things that if I was a millionaire, these are some of the activities that you can also do for healing. I'm going to do this thing. My mind goes, when I start to get ideas, it just goes and goes and goes. Time to reel it in. All of the activities that I've done have helped me get to this place. And I once wrote down, what would millionaire Elaine do? And I wrote down the 10 things that I would do. And then I realized, and when I put it away and I go back and look at it, and oh my gosh, I've done this. I did this. I did this. Millionaire Elaine would fill her fridge with healthy foods. Millionaire Elaine would make sure that she exercised every day. Millionaire Elaine would X, Y, Z. And then, so I realized, does that mean I'm a millionaire? And I don't mean that by I want $1 million. Does it give me a wealthy mindset? So put this on a piece of paper. What would healed, happy Claire, I'm going to pick the name Claire. What would healed, happy Claire do? And write down 10 things that you would do if you had healed yourself from grief, healed yourself from guilt, let go of the remorse, released any of those denser emotions. What would you do? Write those 10 things down, put it in a little envelope, put it away, and then pull it out. And then continue practicing, though. Do these things. Do the little healing exercises I share with you. Do the meditations. Ask for the signs. Ask for help from your animal companion. And then pull out that piece of paper and see if you haven't gotten yourself halfway there or all the way there, and what a change that would make in your life. Which leads me to, great segue, which leads me to creating our own reality. So creating our own reality is the law of attraction kind of thing. It was really popularized by the movie and the book, The Secret, and which got people very far. It really did. It really is very helpful. It woke up a lot of people. It was like a spark. It was definitely a catalyst for helping people start to wake up when they realize that we've got some control. We are not just in default mode, that we don't have to suck it up and grin and bear it, that we actually have control over our lives if we like sometimes just let go of the control. But anyway, so creating our own reality, that's like thoughts create things. What you think of comes to fruition. So be very careful what you think of. But it's the more that you practice, I don't like to say positive thinking. It's the more you practice optimism, the more you practice trust and faith and asking your animal companion, like I see over here, your soul cat, asking for assistance. The easier your thoughts, you start to change the way you think. Abraham Hicks, who I love to talk about, says she has the 17-second rule, which I think is hilarious. She's like, if you really have to like get it out, if something's really bugging you, you don't want to dwell in it. So you got 17 seconds, blah, 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 get it out, and then stop thinking about it. But the problem is that when you tell yourself not to think about the pink elephant, that's all you can think about is pink elephants. So to try to retrain your brain, we've talked about this before too, retraining your brain in the way that you think. So creating your own reality means that your thoughts create reality. Everything you ever do or think or feel goes out into the quantum field, and it then gets reflected right back to you. So whatever you're thinking about is exactly what you experience in your life. Raises the question for me, nobody that I know of would ask that their dog gets cancer, would ask that their cat gets diabetes. No, would ask that their cat got hit by a car. Nope, none of us would consciously create that. So creating your own reality is a bunch of hooey. That when I go down that road. So where I take it is what we started to talk about last week when we talked about the quantum mechanics. It's co-creation. It's not just about your thinking, it's about co-creating. But I jumped ahead, so we'll come back to the co-creating. Under creating your own reality, there's also something that has come up in different religious traditions that I think we have transcended. I think we've ascended away from this, and that is soul contracts and karma. There is a school of thought that says when you and your animal companion were together before you incarnated in your physical bodies, you created a soul contract, and you said, when we come to Earth, we are lucky ducks that we are getting to be one of the few souls who gets to come into a physical body here in the planet and experience all these fun emotions and all this, what it feels like to eat a pizza, all these things we get to experience. So let's really make it the best ride we possibly can. And I will do this and you will do that. And it is going to mean that I know that as a kitty cat, we're not going to get to spend more than 15 years together. And I'm going to be crushed when you cross to the other side. But that's our contract because it's going to help us. It's going to help us grow. We're going to grow and evolve. And that would be a soul contract. I don't like that one either. That one, it does not even resonate with me actually, because it takes away the whole concept of free will and the fact that we can make actual changes in our life. If we predetermined what we're supposed to be doing and why we're doing it, where's the fun in that? So that is soul contracts. And then the same thing with karma. Karma is something that goes back ages. It's an ancient tradition, and it is that we go through cycles in life, and how we behave in our lifetime impacts our future life. And we are stuck in this karmic loop, and we are pitiful humans trying to claw our way out of karma. And if we screw up by doing something wrong, let's just say karma, we did something that resulted in an injury to our animal companion. Our karma is going to come back to get us. That one also, it does not feel right to me at all. It just doesn't feel right. And maybe there was a time when we were immature little humans, and we were in this cycle of growth. But I think it goes way beyond that. I think there's no karmic debt that has to be paid off for us in this lifetime. We're not being punished. Our pet is not being taken from us because of karma in a past life. I think it's a matter of co-creation. And this is why I put the title of tonight's video as lessons learned from our not just pets. I use the word pet. It's our animal companions. Lessons learned from all animals. They are teaching us so much. They are showing us that life goes on, and that this fear, this doubt, this worry, this fear, really, it's fear that there's nothing more for us than living a life of finding turds under rocks. And they're showing us that there is so much more. So that's where the co-creation comes in. I'm just looking. Manifested your soul cat. Mike Dooley with visualization. Yeah, you guys. I know there's a couple old school. I'm calling Mike Dooley old school now, but he's just, but he's not. He's very contemporary. And if you don't know Mike Dooley, go check out Mike Dooley. He does one of the best jobs ever of letting go. He says he worried himself, literally would worry himself endless and think, and then then he'd learn that, oh my God, your thoughts create things. He'd be like, I've been worrying. I've been thinking about being bankrupt. I've been thinking about never having a wife. I've been thinking about, I'm destined. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. And then he says, and then it only takes one positive thought to counteract 100 negative thoughts. So if you want to go check out Mike Dooley, he's a good one. He's one of the few. He's somebody who I've said this before. He got me started doing this. He really, he doesn't even know it. But someday I'm going to be able to meet him. We would converse on live streams like this. And yeah, he really got me going with this. So go check out Mike Dooley. And he has a brother named Andy Dooley who lives in Colorado, who's also a pretty cool dude. Kuda, still coming in dreams and the physical realm. We haven't gotten to dreams in a while. And somebody else has asked about dreams also. So I'm going to have to start. Maybe next week it'll be about how we connect with our animal companions in dreams. But let's get to co-creation. Co-creation. This is the one that I think is, it seems the most valid to me, and it resonates with me the most. It holds the most truth with me, because it means that we have, you have, our animal companions have an active role in our life and the life that we create for ourselves. And one of the lessons, it's a hard lesson, but I think one of the lessons that our animal companions are teaching us is something we can't learn unless they cross to the other side. It's part of our self-evolution. And it's almost as if they are making a willing sacrifice to help us awaken, to help us recognize our true power and our true strength. And when they cross, and we, through groups like this, help each other heal, and we become a better version of ourselves, then we know that we can connect with them, and we know that we can co-create their next incarnation. And it's a beautiful, wonderful cycle where everybody is happy. They're not waiting for us over there going, oh gosh, I hope she remembers that I'm here. I hope she knows that I'm here. I'm so nervous that I won't ever be able to. It becomes a beautiful cycle of co-creation. So this is the way that I think it works. We use our imagination. Use your imagination, just like I did, just like writing that list. What would Happy Claire do? Write that list. Use your imagination. Create a reality that you really want. Sit down and write that letter to Jack. Write that letter to Kuda. Or draw it. If you're not into writing, draw it. Draw what your imagined beautiful life would be. There's something called vision boards. You guys have probably heard this. Vision boards have been around for a while, especially since The Secret. Vision boards is when you took a magazine and you cut out all the pictures of the things that you wanted to manifest: your car, your dream house, your dream partner, your vacation, and you glued them all to this board, and you hung the board on your wall, or you kept it somewhere, and it was a vision board. It was like your hopes and dreams for the future. You can do that. A vision board actually works. A vision board is not just wishful thinking. When you create a vision board of, I'm trying to find the right words. When you create a vision board that is well thought out and not just wishful thinking. So if you put together different things, now a vision board doesn't have to be pictures. It can actually just be writing. It can be words. Put together your thoughts, your ideas, your pictures, your hopes for the future animal that you want in your life, or what you want your own life to look like, or what healing looks like. You put it together, your mind is meant to, it absorbs that. You start to actually create with your imagination. And your imagination is, I mentioned this just a couple minutes ago, your imagination is not just something that you used as make-believe for a child. You use it to make believe your life. Use your imagination. You create a reality that you want, and you do it in collaboration. You can collaborate with your animal companions. You can collaborate with deceased relatives. You can collaborate directly with Source, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call that higher power. It's like shared consciousness. We are creating something together right in this group. I don't even know if we recognize that. All of us here that come together every Monday night, we are creating something. We are creating healing for each other. We're not just wishing it. We're not just offering condolences. We're not just all saying our heart goes out to you. We are creating something new that has never existed before this group. We are creating something that allows all of us to rise up. Everyone who sees this video, whether you're on with me live right now or you're watching it 10 years from now, we are creating something. It's what did I call it? Shared consciousness. Shared consciousness. So you can do it in any number of ways. You can do this with yourself. I often have conversations with other versions of myself. If I picture that there's a better, if I'm seeing an improved, a new and improved Elaine, there's things that I would do differently. There's things I would say differently. I may regret something hurtful that I may have said. I may regret the action when I yanked on Jack. When look at that, it makes my voice crack. When he went out into the street and I needed to pull him back, and I knew it was going to hurt him. I knew it, but there was nothing anyway. All of those things, when I look at the different version of myself, I can talk to her, write to her, sit down and just think about her and ask her to share with me, what are some things that I can do? Help me shift my life. You can ask your animal companion, like Anna, your soul cat. You can ask for help from any animal. I have asked for help from so many different animals. And received guidance and received insight, because it's all the same. We talked you have to go back and watch the video from last week about the quantum field. It's all of the energy everywhere. We are accessing this energy that's all to, through, and around everything. We are accessing that energy. We are choosing the form that energy is taking. So we are choosing to talk to our higher self, to talk to our animal companion on the other side, to talk to the puppy that we had as a child, to talk to any animal, whatever. I've often talked to a horse that bit me when I was a little girl. I was bit on the hand. Gosh, it's been a long time since I told that story, but I got a bad bite on my hand from when I was very young, trying to feed an apple to a horse who of course can't see, and she ate my whole hand. I learned, I had a conversation with that horse. You can co-create with anything. You can co-create with another person. You can co-create with another person's higher self. You can co-create with a relative. I talk to Nana all the time, every single day. Every day I talk to Nana because I trust that even though I don't hear a voice back to me, that our energy is connected. And I have asked for help for my mother. I've asked for help from my father for my mother. You can co-create anything. We have access to this energy. Once you recognize that you do not need to sit idly by and watch your life unfold in default, uncovering turds, where we came up with that example, turning over rocks, turn over those rocks and find the most beautiful things you could ever find. That is what we want to do. And we can do it. We don't have to be puppets in a simulation who are just being moved around like little chess pieces. We're the chess pieces that come to life, and we move ourselves around. And you can co-create and collaborate. Collaborate's the other word I want to use. We can collaborate, and if you want to collaborate directly with God, you can do so. because you are a divine spark. You are part of God. You are an extension of that source. You are an extension of the divine, that creative energy that created all things. You are a direct part of it. And if you want to be able to communicate with that divine source, then you do so. You don't have to. I think that the animals are coming through to us now, like the little mouse with the foot, the little fox with the eye, all of our animal companions, Kuda, all of our soulmates are coming through to us because we don't trust that we can directly connect to God. So they're going, okay, I'll be your intermediary. I'll help you. I do it, Mom. That's why I think the animals are coming through to us, because they are recognizing and they're waking up. We are helping them wake up just as much, but faster. They don't carry some of the mental things the mental baggage that we do. So that's what they were helping us with. So they have come to teach us how. They've come to even when they pass, it's meant to teach us. They've all come into our life for a reason. They have come to teach us unconditional love. They have come to show us that life goes on after life in our physical body. They have come to show us that we have power. They've come to show us that we can, that nothing is outside of possibility, that everything is possible, everything is probable, all possibilities exist. And if we just ask them, they will show us the path. And how does this all tie back to our animal companions crossing to the other side? That's probably the biggest lesson of all, that just because they cross to the other side, we can just let go. You can just release, let go of the guilt, let go of the grief, let go of the remorse. You don't have to carry it. It's like a giant backpack full of rocks that you can just set down. Just set it down, or make it a bag full of leaves and you've dropped it into a stream and let the leaves float down the stream. Or I've described it before as wearing a giant warm blanket of poop. I don't know where all that analogy comes from, but shed it. Just take it off and let it go. And our animals right now, they're over there doing a happy dance. They are doing a happy dance when we do that. And let them come to you in your dreams, which we'll talk about next week. All right, let me check the comments. If any of this has raised additional questions, I've really only kind of scratched the surface. And I know that there's so much more that I don't even know yet. I've been really studying colors and how to use colors to help us heal and how to use colors to help us manage grief. And I can't wait to share more about that, but I'm still in the process of understanding that more. But let me just check our comments here. Kuda sent a message. It was clear as day to use your imagination. Oh, yeah. Write it. I'm all about writing. I believe that writing is a form of communication. It's a form of bringing something into existence. If there is a thought out there in the field and it comes into your mind, that's where it is. But as soon as you take your magic big pen and you write it on paper, it becomes real. Like the words just become real. And the more you write the words, the more the reality begins to create itself. I think there is something to writing that really creates things, that really calls things, that manifests things, creates things, pulls them into reality. So write a description of what it would be like if your animal companion reincarnated. What would they look like? You can set up all the parameters. You can set up everything. You can set up, I will know. We'll go back to selfie. I will know because I will see this little pink triangle. It may just be a shadow, but I'll walk into the shelter and I'll see a little dog that has a little, and that's how I'll know. You can write down every criteria, write it down, visualize it, imagine it. Your imagination is the strongest tool you have. The single strongest tool you have is your imagination. Use it, practice it, and don't tell anybody, right? If you tell people, you're going to get a lot of naysayers. You're going to get a lot of people trying to talk you out of it. So zip it, keep it all to yourself. Talk about it just in this group. We'll support you, but yes, absolutely use your imagination. I'm learning alchemy in the periphery, something the kids know but lose in the adult world. Hard to see a different space for alchemy, not good at it yet. Okay, alchemy. Alchemy is 100%. We are taught that alchemy was when there were people back in the Middle Ages who were trying to turn lead into gold because everybody wanted gold, and that was alchemy. I think that that was more of a metaphor. Alchemy is your ability to transform anything into something different, including yourself. Alchemy is a practice that we can do. Alchemy is change. It is simply changing things from one state to another, and that includes your own reality. So using your imagination results in an alchemy. But we can talk about that more. That would really take us into a really long conversation. But yes, we can all alchemize. We all have the ability to transmute, transform, change whatever it is that we don't like in our life. We are one decision away from making that change. Yes, imagination is the pathway to more. There are some. All right, we can talk so much more about this, but that's what I had for you for tonight. I wanted to suggest to you that there are different ways that we can think about this quantum field, that there are different ways that we can find the answer why. Why do things happen? Why do bad things happen? And I don't think they have to happen. And I think that we are gradually shifting into a place where we can make a change in our own life. And I could also, what just came into my mind, why I hesitated, was the Dolores Cannon concept of the new earth. And I think that we're doing that too. I think we are gradually, for those of us who are choosing to take the ride and start to alchemize our whole existence on planet Earth, that we are shifting to a new earth. And the earth that I visualize for myself, animals and people live in harmony. We're not polluting the oceans. We're not polluting the air. We are finding alternative forms of energy. And I think that's why a lot of things, you know how algorithms work, and the YouTube algorithm, which, by the way, was created by the universe, that the YouTube algorithm brings to me videos about people who are coming up with alternative energy, alternative currency, alternative how to use crystals and colors and all that kind of thing, because I think it's helping us, even with our animal companions. I think it's helping us to evolve into something all new. But okay, there's Elaine going way down the rabbit hole. All right, my friends, it was good to spend this time with you tonight. I will see you all next week. I will be on the road, so we're just going to see how things go. I may be coming to you from a truck stop for all I know. Anyone else been getting some of the sense of knowing lately? Just seem to know what's going to happen before it does. Yep. Okay. All right. Cheryl, good to see you. And yes, blessings for you and all of your animal companions. I will see you here next week. Take care. Until then, may animals light your way. Bye, everybody.